So now I want to go over the Euro AUD swing trade that I've been in since Monday. Today is Wednesday, July 21st. So it's been 2 days, almost 3 days now that I've been holding this position, piecing myself out of it as it's been moving in my favor and moving my stop loss up as the trend has continued. This is really where I find my best trades because I find that I don't have to rush into it. I feel very controlled in taking the position. And then it moves nicely for me in that first day where I can take risk off and move my stop loss up to make sure that I don't go red on any piece of the position at all. So first thing I want to do, I want to show you the P&L from Monday. Now you can see the entry was taken on the 19th, which like I said is Monday. And you'll see two entries, 1.6006 and 1.5995. Now, this first entry, the 95 entry, I closed that just at about 1R right here. You'll see as we go through this trade, the rest of it, the 06 entry, I've pieced myself out at 28, at 25, at 38, at 42, then at 76. Then I even closed some of the trade here at 1.6101. I took off a little bit more this morning at 1.6091. Current price is 1.6087. So if we zoom out, you'll see where we're currently sitting. You can see from Monday where I took the position down here at 1.6007, right around the entry price. We've actually continued up, as I said. So let's go over it from the beginning. Now on Monday, we had bearish divergence against the trade, but we had a really strong market sentiment line. So I was in the boat that this was going to continue to move up today. You end up getting a 2-candle A1 entry that breaks out for a new high of day, breaking the Asia high, breaking through the Asian range for the first time, and breaking through the divergence line. I ended up getting my entry on a 1-minute pullback, treating it like a D1 entry. Now, if you know the D1 system, you'll understand this entry very clearly. I'm going to zoom back here on the 1 minute so you can see it. This green box right here is this green box right here, showing the 2-candle formation. You can see where I took the entry was as it pulled back to the 50 EMA, pulled the market sentiment line into the buy zone on the 1 minute, and then created structure for me to trust the bottom of that 2-candle formation as my stop loss, which is where the back testing tells us to put it. And then from there, it ran up very quickly, holding that 1-minute market sentiment line in the buy zone for about 3 hours, 2.5 hours. You can see the yellow line holding the buy zone all the way until 9 o'clock, dips into the sell zone really quickly, but then by 10 o'clock, we're back up into the buy zone, and that's where you saw the full extension of that move on Monday. So it was really an A1 entry, but I used the 1 minute kind of like how we use it for the D1 to find the tightest risk reward possible. So the first entry, that 9.5 entry, was right here. I'll mark the price. This is where the candle formation started to form. So I figured, look, my risk is very tight. I know my stop would go down here at 88. Very, very tight of a stop loss, 7 or 8 pips. We like that. Then I added to the risk to get to my full size for the C setup here as it comes through that 50 EMA with the market sentiment line in the buy zone, confirming to me that as long as that market sentiment line holds the buy zone, this should continue up. And I know that if it doesn't, I can pull the trade and get out very quickly. So that was the entry on Monday. Now, if we go back to the 15-minute, you'll see it picked up very quickly. I took profit here at 1.6040, right? If you look at the P&L, you'll see I got out at 38, at 42, right? That was because we were at ADR. It then extends even higher by the end of the day up to the 1.61 price level. And again, if you look at the P&L here, my best exit, my highest exit was 1.6101. The highest that this moved is 1.6119. So I was about 10 pips, 12 pips or so off the high with my best exit so far. Now yesterday, Tuesday, you can see it found a lot of resistance to that initial high at the end of the day here set on Monday. It rejected it here, then we transitioned into Tuesday, it rejected it here. All day Tuesday, it couldn't get above. But notice this pin right here, yesterday's low, that was our higher low from Monday. So that was where I had my stop loss yesterday, and it never tagged me out. Then overnight, it ends up continuing higher. So I moved my stop loss up now to this price here at the Asia low, today's low of day. And like I said, I do think today we could see this extend higher. Now, it's not ready to extend higher yet because it's been in a downshift. See how the 8 EMA has crossed under the 21 here? It's been in a downshift today, so it's not ready to move up yet. It might have to drop to the 200, making a higher low from the Asia low, and then continue. There's just a lot of resistance in this zone from the Monday's high. And you can draw this just because the pin here shows the 2 candles to the left and the 2 candles to the right are not higher. So the trade happened on Monday, the entry happens on Monday, but as long as it moves in my favor, I'm taking pieces off at R multiples and just moving my stop up. Really, that idea comes from Tom Basso, who wrote the Trend Following Mindset book with Michael Covell that I have behind me. He's written a couple of other books as well, just talking about how he reacts. He doesn't forecast. He doesn't say, oh, it's made its top, I got to close my trade. No, it could keep going up for weeks. Why take the full trade out? Piece yourself out, move your stops, and then what I like to do is see that most of my trades, I get stopped in profit at an R multiple because I've moved my stop up and I'm riding the trend using price structure. When price reverses, then it takes me out. I don't forecast my way out of it. But what I'm doing is closing pieces of that trade as it moves in my favor at R multiples. Now, what I would do, the last thing here to give you guys a little bit of advice, what I would do and what I will do with this trade is continue to piece myself out of it for the rest of the week, but I won't hold it over the weekend. Just because holding over the weekend, I think leaves us susceptible to some crazy news events. So it's important to close out on Fridays and come back the next week fresh. But if this can continue from Monday into Friday, why would I want to get out of it? I want to keep taking pieces off. Even with a small piece still in, I can make more money as it goes higher, of course. So it's important to not forecast, to react. And instead of trying to say, oh, it moved to ADR. Imagine if I had closed the trade here on Monday at average daily range. Then I would have missed out on all this potential profit with my best exit being all the way up here. So it's important to not react. It never broke the 8 EMA on Monday. It held beautifully. It never gave us an exit signal, at least until 11:45, 12 o'clock. And the entry was at 6:30. So I think this explains it pretty well, where you guys can see the swing trade happening, you see the P&L, you see the structure of how I'm moving my stop loss up, and then you can see how even today, market sentiment is swapping. You've got this bearish divergence on top, but if you look at this from Monday, this is the higher low, Tuesday's low. Today's low so far, that is the higher low. It isn't making higher highs past Monday's high on Tuesday, but now, today on Wednesday, it is. So it's making higher highs and higher lows. This is still moving up. And if you go to the 1 minute, here today, where price action currently is, we've had some bullish divergence setting up this morning. Now, it's come a little bit lower since then, so it might extend, like I said, down to the 200, and I think that's because you broke the 50 and you shifted down here, but that doesn't mean it can't stop at the 200 and continue this trend as the day goes on. So that's why I'm keeping the bias and still looking for long entries today, still looking for long entries yesterday. It just didn't pan out yesterday. But I think that should kind of give you guys a full idea of how I'm swing trading Euro AUD and where the idea started and where the idea should continue to go into the rest of the week. Are there any questions about that? Quaylen said, why do we piece out if we are moving our stop loss up? Wouldn't that be protecting profits as well? Yes, but if you don't take yourself out, let's say it goes up to 3R and then your stop is at 1R, like let's say you're risking 10, it goes up 30, you don't take any profit, then you move your stop loss up to 10 pips in profit. Why didn't you just take the full trade at 10 pips in profit then? You know what I mean? By piecing yourself out, you leave yourself open to taking more profits, to making more money if that trend continues like this one did. Does that make sense, Quaylen?